Welcome back to Origin Unexplained, where the weird gets weirder and the abnormal is our norm. And I am Sue, and I'm your host. This is Origin Unexplained. So I decided to do this podcast so you get an understanding and a basis of what is being used in the next podcast. And the next future upcoming podcast is on a missing person. And I used to work on missing people cases. So let me give you a little bit of history. About a month to 2 months prior to turning the age of 40, and I will tell you that was a little while ago, okay? I learned, or should I say I stumbled upon remote viewing. I did not know what it was, nor had I ever heard of it at all. Didn't even know what it was. Didn't see movies on it, nothing. Okay, I grew up in a Christian family. This isn't anything that has to do with religion or spiritual beliefs or anything like that. This is something that everybody has inside of them. But they just don't understand it. Heck, I didn't even understand it. So, what do you do when you remote view? Well, I can tell you that it is not like you hear today. If you go to social media like TikTok, you'll hear a lot of people say they are remote viewers. And a lot of them have that misconstrued with clairvoyance. So the original remote viewing is where you can actually see where somebody or something is, or in the past, even in the present. That was done with a lot of testing. I didn't even know that that was even possible until the last, I don't know, it was within the last 2 years. I've never really read up about it. I knew about it, and of course I watched the movie Men Who Stare at Goats. But this isn't anything that I've ever done, nor do I follow a protocol like they used with, Project Stargate. I came upon it one day while talking with a friend on the phone, and the friend asked me, or actually he said to me, he says, Sue, you seem to be mentioning things that I'm doing or things that I'm planning on doing. And I'm like, well, what do you mean? And we're having a regular conversation here. He says, well, you just seem to know some things. I'm like, okay, whatever. And he says, well, try to guess what I'm doing. And I'm like, well, how am I going to guess what you are doing when I am not there? I mean, I can take a guess, but it's a shot in the dark, right? So for some reason, I said, okay, and I just closed my eyes. I didn't know why I was doing it, what I was doing. I just closed my eyes. And then I just looked deep into my eyelids and stuff, and I started seeing a picture form. And, well, I wasn't really thrilled at what I was seeing. I saw some ladies in some bikinis, let's put it that way. And they were bent over like rocks on a beach. So now I'm trying to focus on what he's telling me to do. Try to guess. But at the same time, I'm like, well, how am I going to tell him this? He's going to be thinking, that there's something a little bizarre going on there, a little bit of Freudian throwbacks at me or something. So I was debating whether I was even going to say what I was, seeing. So finally I got up the nerve and I said, okay. I said, I am seeing some ladies bent over a stone in thong bikinis. And then there was a loud voice at the other end of the phone. Oh my God. I'm like, ooh, I must have hit on something. So he said that was not what I was looking at. I was actually looking in a ring that's resting in my palm of my hand. However, I'm sitting at my desk and the wallpaper on my computer is that of ladies bent over a rock. And I was floored. Absolutely floored. I'm like, what is this? I didn't know what to say. I was probably speechless for a moment, and that's pretty rare. Well, of course, he was excited. He's like, do it again, do it again, do it again. And I said, I'll try. So I closed my eyes and stared deep into my eyelids. And I saw what looked like round lights that would be over like a bathroom sink. And I described, well, I think I'm seeing a bathroom again. Very excited. And he was absolutely flabbergasted, probably just as much as I was. So, mind you, now, I knew nothing about this, didn't know what I was doing. I stumbled upon it, which I guess that is actually some of the ways that readers or remote viewers, come across things. It's by trial and error. It's not something that, a lot of people just read. So I have that little belief inside of me that believes that things come to you when they are supposed to. I don't think you should be out there searching for anything, calling anything in, nothing like that. I think you just need to live life, and if it comes to you, well, there you go. Well, since those days, I've learned quite a bit. I have worked on some missing person cases, which I can't really get too descriptive about. Um, and it's really good at helping close some of the pieces when it comes to helping finding missing people. Now, the good thing about remote viewing is you do not need to go to the location. You can do it right from your kitchen sink while you're doing dishes, you know? Uh, and that's exactly what I had done. Of course, I've taken some trips and stuff because there was a few other little abilities that are in there that I didn't know at the time either. And when you combine the two, it's really good at helping finding missing people, missing objects, things like that. I know one of the first few things I did with my ex was he had lost his credit card, and I proceeded to draw out a picture, and I saw like a plus sign. Now, mind you, when I see things, they're in black and white most of the time. I can see in color, but rarely do I see it in color. It's in black and white. And I took and drew out the picture, and it was the middle of winter. And I drew right on the ground where I saw this card, and it was clearly outside. So we had looked around for places that looked like a plus sign because I couldn't really make out when I did it exactly what it was that I was looking at. Well, a couple weeks later, the snow had melted. And sure enough, that card was exactly where I drew it. Exactly, because I saved the piece of paper. That was interesting. It's also very interesting that I am a person that knows absolutely nothing about cars and engines. The engines, the whole makeup of them. And of course, the ex was quite impressed over time of all the things that I had done. And he says, I need you to go and do your thing and try to find what's wrong with it. So, again, closed my eyes, started drawing pictures out of what I saw. And it ended up being way down in the motor. And it was exactly what it was. On another occasion, I got a call here, what was it, about a year ago? Now, this is many years later. And the ex said, I need you to tell me what is wrong here with this item that I'm working on at work. It had something to do with cables and like internet and all that. So I closed my eyes once again and I saw exactly where there was a problem with the cable. And now, mind you, this is at a huge water park, but I saw the building, everything. So when it comes to missing people, of course, I don't charge to remote view. I focus on the person. I need at least a name, a first name, or if somebody wanted to give me like a picture without giving me a name, that's fine. I don't need a first and last name. All I do is I look at the picture or the first name, and then I just close my eyes and do my thing. And a lot of times I can see where the body or the remains, if it's a person that's deceased, I can see locations. And if you use clairaudience, which is something else that I found out that I had that I did not ask for, you can remote view and you can also hear, or I can at least, hear from them. So you put the missing pieces together where you can't remote view and see, you can hear. And these are abilities that I believe all of us had. Never read about it, don't much care to know about it, still haven't read about it, and it just happened when it happened. Now, I do say that sometimes I believe that my health may have played a big role in it because I do have Lyme disease, and there's a lot of misfirings, of course, in the brain. But I don't know. I think it helps it. But again, this is something that's mysterious. I'm not calling in anything. All I've got to do is just close my eyes. It's there. So I'm going to be using this in the next episode when it comes to missing people. And we had a great talk on the phone, Gail and I, today about this one missing persons case. And there was some new information that I had pulled in. Thank God. I was so ecstatic about it. Sure would be nice if I could get some help from some people out there, if they could tell me if there's specific roads and stuff. But I am going to be using some remote viewing live on the podcast so you can see it in video. And we're going to put some pieces together. Now, we have a lot of information. It's a very well-known case. And I think it will be quite interesting to do it in a podcast because I do enjoy helping people find missing family members and so on. I've always been up for a good mystery my whole life. An absolute fan of Nancy Drew books and things like that. So I like mystery. And there has been numerous cases that I've heard about on Unsolved Mysteries that I'll just sit there at the table and I'll just close my eyes and see what I can see. Sometimes I see people that are still alive. And when I see them and they're still alive, I see usually movement. Like you could see them walking through rooms. So when I see them, I'm actually seeing, I always say from their eyes, but I don't believe that it's their eyes. I think it's more like the auric field and stuff. around them. The only time I don't really see, because I don't see them, I see basically what they're seeing. So if they're driving a car, I do not see from their eyes. I see from the back seat, which I find very, very, very interesting. That is the only thing that is different. So it's an interesting, very interesting thing, I'll call it, because that's basically what it is. It's a thing. It's pretty neat. I won't say I'm cursed. I mean, it's not about all that stuff you hear on TV. You could turn it on, you can turn it off. You just basically just open your eyes, okay? In my case, I guess there are some remote viewers that can keep their eyes open. Not I. I found that out by closing my eyes, and I've had no reason to change that. Done it numerous times on TikTok for people, just because, and so on. So I just wanted to give you a little update of what remote viewing is and what I've done over the years to help find missing people. And we are going to be doing it in the next podcast, Gail and I. If there's anybody out there that does remote view, and I don't mean clairvoyance, I mean true, legitimate remote viewing. We've done testing on my TikTok page for this. I would love to hear from you. Actually, we all would love to hear what you have to say. It's a very interesting thing to do. I don't know really how to word it or put it into any kind of, I don't know, description outside of calling it a thing. And I believe every one of us had it and has it. So, again, if you have any comments, please feel free to leave comments. And of course, you can email it Origin Unexplained, and that's UNXPLAINED, and that's at gmail.com. And if anybody would like to do or join in a podcast, just send an email, let me know, and I'm sure that we can get you in. All right, guys, until next time, I thank you for listening. You can find us on all social media platforms pretty much. We're on Spotify and YouTube. I have not yet gotten into the whole Apple thing, so it's not on there yet, but I'll get it there eventually. All right, I want to thank you so much for listening. And this is me, your host, Sue, on Origin Unexplained.